It's a short track Tuesday night in the Challenger Cup Series as round 8 of 2025 second season brings us to the three-quarter mile that is Richmond Raceway. As we reach the halfway point of the regular season, the playoff push begins. 16 will be in, the rest will be out. Who will do playoff racing? And who will be left to wait for next season? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the virtual Richmond Raceway. My name is Dawson Wise, and happy to be bringing you all of the action tonight from Richmond Raceway. It's 160 laps in the Challenger Cup Series as we get ready to do battle in round number 8 of 2025's season number 2. Thank you so much for joining me, bringing you through all the action here tonight in Richmond. Looking forward to what should be an incredible race. Getting a quick turnaround here. This one started a little bit earlier than I am used to, so getting a little bit of a quick start, but nonetheless, as you file in, hope you do enjoy tonight's action as we take you through it. You'll see the sky switches over. We're going to go night racing tonight at Richmond. This is a rarity in the Challenger Cup Series, but tonight under the lights for the first time in a while here in the Challenger Cup Series. It will be tonight in Richmond. We're going to head right down trackside. We do not have any time that we can waste in tonight's race, so we will get down to track level and get you ready for 160 laps of racing at the Richmond Raceway. Let's get right into it with tonight's starting grid for round 8 of the Challenger Cup Series in 2025 Season 2. On the pole is a man who has taken the Challenger Cup Series by storm a week ago, made his first career start at the Watkins Glen International, and got his first win. Not only that, he got it in dominant fashion. It's the 30 machine, listed for Electric City Racing. That is Ryan Patty. To his outside, it's going to be the man who finished second to him a week ago and the winningest driver here in 2025, the Challenger Cup Series, at least in this second season. It's going to be the 29 of Christian Schrader. Back on row 2, going to be Matt Hayden in the 5 car. His best qualifying effort, I believe, of the season to this point. He'll go from position number 3 right on pace with the DeWalt Ford Mustang there in that 3rd spot. It'll be Nick Seipel in the 57 to his outside in the 4th spot. Row 3 going to be Garrett Caswell in the 77. You will see different colors aboard his race car tonight. Later on in the broadcast, we'll give you the reason why. I kind of wanted to talk about that before we got going. Again, with the earlier start time, I will admit I was a little bit late But we will talk about that. I want to talk about that. You will see some different colors aboard Garrett Caswell's car tonight. He'll roll from 5th. It'll be Harold Rothery to his outside in the 6th spot. Row 4 going to be Travis Everett in the 13 and Rusty Modesty in the 6 machine. Running at the top 10, Harold Watkins in the 3 and GT Irizarry in the 14. Back on row 6 going to be Brandon Beauchamp in the 15 alongside Andrew Little, the Waterford Concept Chevrolet in 12th. It'll be John Velocity, the defending series champion, 13th. It'll be Cody Eldred in the 34 in the 14th spot. Row number 8, it's going to be Greg Bourbonier in the 00 and Stephen Luttrell, the Atlanta winner, in the 16th spot. It'll be Mike Martino rounding out a 17-car field from the Richmond Raceway. 160 laps under the lights at Richmond tonight. Stage break will be the conclusion of lap number 40. Limited tire sets in the pits for these guys tonight, and of course the limited fuel load is going to make pit stops very interesting as we get ready to go under the green flag for the first time. You'll have to manage your stuff, especially your tires. You don't want to do too much on these tires early in the race and burn your stuff up. The hope tonight, of course, for one of these guys is that they can go to victory lane. Ryan Patty won a week ago. Christian Strader's won 3 times in 2025. Matt Hayden looking for win number 1. Nick Seipel, the Sonoma winner, for back in race number 3. Caswell, Rothery, Everett still looking for win number 1. Watkins, the winner from a few weeks ago at Iowa. And, of course, Modesty looking for win number 1. Irizarry looking for win number 1. A lot of guys have yet to be on the board in the win column. Some guys here up at the front have recently gone to victory lane. It's going to be a long night under the lights with a tempers flare. And who will get to victory lane and lock themselves into the Challenger Cup Series playoffs? Green flag is in the air. We're racing trouble. Matt Hayden to the outside wall. The Oakley Chevy goes nose first into the safer barrier, and immediately the caution flag may fly on the front straightaway. Nick Seipel's in it. Brandon Beauchamp is in it. And on the opening start of this one from Richmond, it's chaos for the leaders and the entrance of turn number 1. For Matt Hayden, that is not the way that he wanted to get his night started in the Oakley Chevy. He was starting from position number 3, and as the leader, Ryan Patty, got into the restart zone, Matt Hayden went to grab the gas pedal, and with this restart zone being in a bit of an odd spot at the Richmond Raceway, as he went to get on the gas pedal, you're still cranking that car to the left, and it gets out from under him, a wheel spin. Actually, no. Pardon, it's Nick Seipel to the outside of Hayden that's actually going to spin his tires. Comes down, grabs Hayden, gets Caswell involved in it as well. Hayden's going to be worse for wear, though, by far. He's going to have to use his fast repair on lap number 1 as Seipel gets out of shape in the restart zone. He's actually going to get hit by Brandon Beauchamp. Multiple cars involved in this one on the opening lap at Richmond Raceway. We'll take one more look at it here before we get back up to live action, but it's Matt Hayden that is unfortunately going to get the worst end of this in the 5 machine. As Seipel went to go and just spun his tires. You see the car completely spins out on him there on the outside of row number 2, and he gets into Matt Hayden, who then noses the outside wall, basically the same spot that Chase Elliott hit the outside wall back on Saturday night in the NASCAR Cup Series race. Seipel comes down into Caswell. Beauchamp coming along, getting into it. And these guys back here, Modesty, Little, Eldred, they all just come to a stop at the start-finish line. And an early start to this one for a couple of guys tonight. But for Matt Hayden, that is a tough break. He's actually going to come back down pit road and maybe try to fix this car and save that fast repair. We'll see what Hayden decides to do in the Oakley Chevrolet. But he's already gone a lap down to the leaders in the 17th and final position, as he will likely try to fix this car. We'll see if he eventually goes and gets a fast repair. Nope. He's trying. I think he's trying to take his fast repair, and it just will not register for him. So unfortunate for Matt Hayden that he is having some problems getting that fast repair to register. So for Matt Hayden, a tough start. We'll see if we get one to go right here, and I want to see if I have time to talk about what I wanted to talk about, or if it'll have to wait till the stage break, and it will have to wait with 1 lap to go. So we will get to that here in just a little bit. Re-racking for you. We haven't even completed a green flag lap here at Richmond, and already some chaos. Patty and Strader got away fine on the front row. Rothery and Watkins will move up to 3rd and 4th. It'll be Travis Everett and GT Irizarry, some teammates on row 3, 5th, and 6th. It'll be John Velocity, 7th. Greg Bourbonier, 8th. Mike Martino up to 9th, and Rusty Modesty in the 10th position. Matt Hayden has come back to pit road. Now his fast repair registers. He is 1 lap down to leaders with a clean car, and assuming he makes it to the stage break, we'll be able to get that lap back in due time. Well, let's try this again. Not as good a start on the first attempt as the leaders would have liked, but we're going to give it another go here off turn 4. Patty brings him into the restart zone. Green flag. Now we are racing from Richmond. Trouble again at Richmond, and we still have yet to complete a green flag lap, as this time it's Mike Martino that got around towards the tail end of the field. We'll take a quick look at this one because you saw it on your screen. As a self-spin for the Timu Chevrolet back towards the tail end of the field is what brings out the second caution of tonight's race. See Martino getting into turn 1, got the apron. Car whipped around on him. He went for a slide. It was enough to bring out a caution, and Matt Hayden's involved. And a nightmare start to Matt Hayden's evening at Richmond Raceway, from a really good qualifying effort to 2 quick incidents. His fast repair has already been taken. He's already received damage out of that, and now gets into the back of Mike Martino as well. So a bad night gone worse so far for the driver of the 5. Let's take one more look. You see him get on the apron and slides and lets it roll out on the apron, and Hayden just commits to the bottom and does not go quite as planned for the Oakley Chevy as he came on in the incident. So another caution flag on lap 8, and we still have yet to complete a green flag lap here at Richmond Raceway. We'll get one to go next time by. I do want to quickly mention, as Garrett Caswell sits on pit road, I wanted to mention this with more time at the beginning of the broadcast, but I do want to bring it up. We heard this week that one of the teammates of Garrett and Nick Seipel for GTCR Motorsports, the team on board that 10 machine, the driver of the 10, Austin Johnson, he was involved in a serious accident this past week, and we'd heard the news earlier in the week. Now, obviously we're grateful to hear that Austin was able to survive the accident, but obviously he still sustained some pretty serious injuries. So Garrett tonight is running his paint scheme kind of as a tribute to his teammate, just an I've got your back kind of move. And for Caswell, this is a really cool move. It moved me a lot when he said he was going to be doing this. So do want to wish Austin and his friends and family and loved ones, and obviously that team as well, all the best. I know they're racing with a lot on their minds tonight and a lot on their hearts. We're obviously thoughts and prayers to Austin and his family through a trying time, and hoping for the best, obviously, for this team here tonight as Garrett runs the colors of Austin Johnson as we get ready to go back under green flag. But did want to point that out for Caswell. It's a cool moment. It's one of those things where racing can kind of pull people together, and I think this week, we all kind of sat back and saw that happen. So, Austin, if you're watching, if your friends, family, loved ones are watching, we have your back. We're here for you. Your team races for you tonight, but we all race for you here as we go forward this season, and obviously, hoping for the best for you and your recovery, and hoping to see you back here maybe one day out on the racetrack with us. But a really cool thing for Garrett Caswell tonight in the 10 machine. We'll certainly be keeping a very close eye on where the T&J Bar and Grill Ford Mustang runs for Garrett Caswell throughout tonight's race. Well, Ryan Patty leads the way. We still have yet to complete a green flag lap. We're going to go back under green on lap 11 of 160. Patty up to the top. Watkins going to try to get 2 for 1 here on the entrance of turn number 1 as Harold Watkins gets to the inside of Strader. So Strader will drop to third. He'll be under fire now from Everett and Rothery. And off into turn 3, the longest green flag run of the night's complete with 3/4 of a lap. Patty starting to try to set sail on the rest of the field. He'll come off turn 4. We got a lap under our belts here at the Richmond Raceway. Patty first, Watkins second, Strader third, Everett fourth, and Rothery settling nicely into fifth. Good run so far for the driver of the 7. Behind them, John Velocity, series champ, runs 6th. And Modesty, Irizarry, Little, and Bourbonnier run back through the 10th position. Then you'll find some guys on the move. Matt Hayden was involved in an incident, so he will still be 1 lap down. But we'll get the lucky dog here at the stage or at the next caution flag when that does occur. Watkins gets the wall. Strader chases him out back. Velocity looks for 5th on Rothery as Modesty attacks a new look 84 machine. A little bit different colors aboard that Chevrolet tonight as he gets attacked by Modesty. Velocity going after Rothery for 5th. Out back, some battling behind them. We'll keep it here for a moment as Velocity tries to pass Harold Rothery. as Rothery's going to move up. Guys starting to experiment a little bit with the lines tonight. Curious how that was going to work in terms of guys experimenting with some lines throughout the race. Early, Velocity and Rothery seem the most eager to go up there. Velocity gets on by, that's for 5th. Modesty going to make it 2 for 1, that's for 6th. Out back, Battling goes on behind them for 8th on back, as this is a bit of a hornet's nest back here around GT Irizarry, Andrew Little, and the aforementioned Garrett Caswell. Again, a lot on the mind of the driver of the 10 machine tonight. As he's to the inside of Little, that would be for 9th. He's looking for 8th on Irizarry here in a moment as well. And he rolls into turn number 3. He's on the move here on this restart. He's already up 4 or 5 spots from where he restarted. But that top lane is starting to come in here on the little bit older tires, and also some traffic on the bottom is keeping Caswell from rolling that corner as much as he would like to. Down the backstretch in the wall goes Andrew Little, and now, oh man, Caswell jumps it up in line, gets to the back of the Waterford Chevrolet, and now he'll be under attack here from Luttrell in the 11th position. Mike Martino just went a lap down in the 75, so Caswell trying to defend the 10th position from Luttrell, but he has moved up now to that outside lane. Rothery has moved back down, so he'll be under fire here from Irizarry, Little, and eventually these guys behind them. Biggest mover in the race, +8 for John Velocity, then it's +6 for the Harold Watkins machine, then +5 for Stephen Luttrell. Rothery goes back up the racetrack, trying to hold off GT Irizarry, but Motorcraft Mustang is on the move. Luttrell has to dive out of line as Seipel gets to the outside of him. That's for the 11th spot back here in this continued battling going on back here around the Irizarry, Rothery, Little, Seipel, Caswell machines. Irizarry finally gets that spot. That's 7th on the racetrack. Gap is starting to lessen up front. Strader got by Watkins for 2nd, and he's trying to run down Ryan Patty, a familiar spot after last week. Almost trouble out back, Rothery and Caswell, but they get it sorted. Caswell gets 9th. He'll now look for 8th on Andrew Little as he continues his drive through the field. We'll see if he can get up to Andrew Little here in turn 2. A tear through the field for Caswell. Remember, he started back towards the tail end, back around the 15th position. He's already up to 9th. Trying to get to Andrew Little for the 8th spot as Seipel works on Rothery for 10th. Right behind these guys. Not really a great battle on the speedway right now. There's about to be towards the front of the field with Everett and Velocity, but John Velocity's not been able to get much closer than about 3.5 tenths. Seipel working on Rothery. That's behind these this battle right here. But it settles out as Seipel quickly gets the spot and is up to 10th. Now chases his teammate Caswell for the 9th spot. Caswell gets the fence. A lot of guys get the fence right there off of turn number 2. The battle's actually, I think, about to be for 5th. Velocity and Rusty Modesty, who has caught the 84. As they work off into turn number 1 as Velocity tries to catch the Travis Everett machine. Meanwhile, Watkins starting to run down Christian Strader. That is for 2nd. It's all going on behind Ryan Patty, who again has race-winning speed, it seems, so far in the early going, although this time Strader and Watkins seem to have him within arm's distance. Continue to watch the battle that is starting to build for 5th and maybe eventually the 4th position up to Travis Everett as Velocity chases the 13, Modesty chases the 84, Irizarry chases all 3. As they work off turn number 4. Again, only 40 laps here in the opening stage. Or 25 now complete, 26 on the board. They're running 22 second lap times. So far on this run. Again, not really a great battle on the speedway right now. Again, there's about to be a battle back here for the 9th spot, so let's go back there. Nick Seipel has caught his teammate, Garrett Caswell. And this is for position number 9. Seipel dips underneath the apron, trying to use the exit speed. Has to duck off just a little as Caswell gets the wall. Seipel will go on by on the bottom side of the racetrack. He'll get the spot. Caswell trying to stay alongside him. He will. Good battle here for a 9th. Between a pair of teammates. 28 on the board, 13 to go in stage number 1. Two cars are a lap down. Matt Aiden is 1 lap down. Mike Martino is 2 laps down as Seipel completes the pass for the 9th position. So only a couple cars laps down. Brandon Beauchamp is the next in danger, but I don't know if Patty will get there. And the time he is allotted here in stage number 1. So Seipel moves on by. The battle now moves back up here around John Velocity. Closest running cars on the speedway, but not for long. We're going to go up a little bit further. As the Ghost Chevrolet of Harold Watkins has run down Christian Strader, this will be for second if and when it materializes here late in stage 1. They work off turn 4 down the front straightaway. 11 laps to go at the line, make it 10 for Patty as Watkins looks underneath. This is for second. Strader going to let him have it. It's early in the race. He'll let the Harold Watkins machine go. Move Watkins to position number 2 as he will now mount a charge against Ryan Patty in the 30 machine. So Watkins, the king of the long run here in Challenger Cup Series. We'll see what he's got on Ryan Patty tonight in Richmond. Next best battle on the speedway, we're going to go back around that 5th position again to John Velocity, who continues to hold off Rusty Modesty with 9 laps to go in this opening stage. Velocity by a car length over that green, white, and red number 6. You see Irizarry start to enter the fray. Andrew Little not too far back of these guys. Then a gap back to Nick Seipel in 9th. As they work again off turn number 4, the laps are ticking off quickly. Now only 8 laps to go in stage number 1. Ryan Patty, boy, what a start to his Challenger Cup Series career. Last week at one of the more technical tracks on the circuit, Watkins Glen, took the field to school, including a couple of guys in Velocity and Christian Strader and Nick Seipel that have won on road courses already, whether this season or last. And Ryan Patty went out and took them behind the woodshed at Watkins Glen last week. Here's the battle for 5th. Modesty underneath John Velocity. Velocity, again, just like Strader a moment ago, going to be patient with that 6 machine. Let him have the spot. Now he'll have to try to get back on his horse here as GT Irizarry going to try to make it 2 for 1 into turn number 3. Velocity running up against the safer barrier. Not working for him so far, but you're on board with the man who runs now in the 6th spot, side by side with GT Irizarry. The gap is shrinking up front, shrinking just a little bit up front as Harold Watkins is chipping away just a tad at the lead of Ryan Patty. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the 3 and that delta up to the leader. He will not have time here in stage number 1, but boy, he's cutting a lot out of the lead here late in the going of the stage. So perhaps a battle for the win on our hands in this race later on tonight. This battle's cooled off just a little. Velocity, I don't think, is going to be able to get around Rusty Modesty here before this stage ends. Only 3 laps to go in the opening stage. And for Ryan Patty, that's about as good as it gets. He led basically every lap at Watkins Glen that wasn't on a pit cycle. So far tonight has led every lap at the Richmond Raceway in this 160 lapper, although he slaps the wall there off turn 4. 2 laps to go in this opening stage. It continues to be Patty over Watkins, then Strader, then Everett, and then there's a bit of a battle behind them. Modesty and Velocity go at it again here through turn 1 on the second to last lap of stage number 1. It'll be the DeWalt Chevy Camaro coming off turn 4. He'll get the stage white flag right here. Stage coming up the conclusion of this 40th lap. So he works down through turns 1 and 2. The gap staying pretty steady, right about 1 second right now. As Ryan Patty leads all but a few last week at Watkins Glen. He's going to lead 40 here to open Richmond. Ryan Patty easily cruises to a stage 1 victory. Harold Watkins grabs some stage points. So does Christian Strader. Bit more interesting behind them. It's Everett coming home 4th. Rusty Modesty grabs a stage point in the 5th and final spot. Stage 1 complete. Stage 2 coming up. Ryan Patty, your winner from stage 1. What we're going to do now, We're going to take what hopefully will be our only side-by-side break of the evening. After this, we'll have coverage of Stage 2 from Richmond Raceway. Again, it's Ryan Patty, Harold Watkins, Christian Strader, Travis Everett, and Rusty Modesty. Your top 5 from Richmond. 40 down, 120 to go. Conclusion from Richmond coming up right after this.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by three. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. Hard into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We won't run! We won't run! Ladies and gentlemen, we got
The monkey has prime!
this season, we are hydrated!
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's Prime!
Oh, that's good.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point. But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was really awesome.
Welcome back to the Richmond Raceway. Stage 1 done and over with. We're ready to rack them up for stage number 2. It's Ryan Patty that will go from the lead. He's led every lap so far at Richmond and leads the race off pit road. Christian Strader will go from 2nd. Harold Watkins 3rd. Travis Everett 4th. John Velocity back in the 5th spot. Rusty Modesty 6th. JT Irizarry in 7th. With Andrew Little 8th. Nick Seipel 9th. Cody Eldred 10th. Patty into the restart zone. Green flag. Stage 2 is underway and Patty's off and running. Down to turn 1, battles on for 2nd. Watkins again, just like the opening start, gets the jump on Strader. He'll get to 2nd this time. Everett trying to get to 3rd, but for now, Strader going to hold his ground. They'll battle for it here down the back straightaway and into 3. Modesty and Velocity battle behind them, and then it's a hornet's nest on back from there. Strader trying to hold on to that podium spot. Everett wants it bad. So field works back down into turn number 1. 114 laps to go. From Richmond, it's the Reese's Mustang on the outside. It's the red and white and black rifle Ford Mustang on the inside. This, the battle for 3rd. Behind them, the battle for 5th. Andrew Little files in the 7th spot. Right behind this is Nick Seipel's the man on the move. He's up to 9th already. Trying to get by Andrew Little as they battle back here. Little's in the outside wall. Seipel goes by, so does Caswell. The men for GTCR on the move here on this restart in stage number 2. Back up front, Watkins hanging here with the leader, Ryan Patty. Work back down into turn number 3. First time tonight, Patty's really had a big challenge, and it's from the winningest driver in Season 1 in 2025. Harold Watkins won 5 times across the season. He's won once already on a short track back in Iowa. A very similar track to this one just a couple of weeks ago. Looking for win number 2 on the season, and number 6 on the calendar year. 7 on the calendar year. If he can get the job done tonight in Richmond. It continues to be Patty over Watkins, then it's Strader, then it's Velocity who's gotten up to fourth around Everett. The battle is on for the sixth spot behind them. The man on the move right now is Garrett Caswell. He's up to sixth around Modesty. He's going to try to get 2 for 1 here off turn 2 as he battles the Black Rifle Mustang of Travis Everett. Everett gives him the spot. Caswell slides up on entry. Everett's going to get back to his right rear, but it'll be Caswell getting the spot and driving away. Move car 77 into the top 5 for the first time tonight since he started in the 5th position earlier on in the evening. Biggest mover is Velocity. He's up from 13th to position number 4 on the speedway right now. The battle is for 6th between Irizarry and Everett. Teammates will go at it for the 6th position. Modesty files in behind them in 8th. Then it's Seipel and Little, the rest of the top 10. Matt Hayden is still 1 lap down in the 5, so he'll need a little bit more help if he's going to get that lap back. Brennan Beauchamp is 1 lap down in the 15 car as well. Mike Martino called it a night back on lap 26. On board momentarily with the Irizarry machine as he chases Garrett Caswell for the 5th spot. These two men have had history this season back at Atlanta. Garrett Caswell and Irizarry got together at the end of stage 1. Certainly no love lost between those two cars in this one. When they come back to the line, Fat Patty's already passed at 107 laps to go from Richmond Raceway. You're on board again with the Irizarry as he chases down Garrett Caswell in that 10 machine. Behind them, not a ton of movement here in terms of guys coming forward in the field right now. This is the best battle on the track for now until Strader gets back to Watkins here momentarily. Ryan Patty's opened up a 7/10 lead, but this time with Watkins not losing as much ground, he's going to be able to open up a little more of a lead. He's not going to be able to open up as much of a gap between himself and the leader, Ryan Patty. So Patty only ahead here by 7/10, and that's danger zone with Harold Watkins, who has been traditionally very good on the long run in this Challenger Cup Series. The gap opens up just a little, though, here off turn number 4. 105 laps to go. Patty starts to get into that territory he was in last week where it becomes his race to lose. A long way to go, though, for the driver of the DeWalt Chevrolet. Battle is on again for 5th. Caswell, though, holds the spot there off turn 4 and will defend that spot for another round. They're actually catching John Velocity just a little bit in the 4th spot as well, so they may actually bring themselves into a 3-way battle for 4th. As Strader continues to try to run down Watkins up in front of these guys. 103 laps to go. Already just over 20 laps short of halfway. Only 160 laps on tap. This was never going to take a very long time with them running 22-second lap times, likely. With only 102 laps to go, we could be very well into the final about 35 minutes of this race. It's going to go by very quickly. As Patty hopes it does. He's ticking off laps up front, but Watkins continues to keep him close. As Caswell pulls away a little bit here from Irizarry, now sets his sights forward on John Velocity in the 4th spot. Watkins actually going to make this pretty competitive here. It's down to about 6.5 tenths. He was actually into the 5/10 region a moment ago. So Harold Watkins is closing on the leader, Ryan Patty. We'll see if he can continue to do so here. Continue to chip away. 100 laps to go at Richmond. 20 laps from halfway. Only 3 sets of tires in the pits for the drivers tonight. You got to use them wisely. Likely a lot used a set right there in stage, at the end of stage number 1. You'd imagine they'd use another set here on this next green flag pit stop, which you anticipate would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about lap 100, but we'll see exactly how far these guys can go. Battle is going to be for that 5th spot that Garrett Caswell occupies right now, as Ziri has caught him once again. Trying to get around him for 5th. Caswell will pull away just a little, but now, as Ziri has done a few different times, he has reeled in at number 10 machine, and he puts him under fire once again here back into turn number 1. 97 laps remain at Richmond Raceway. Not a ton of other great battles on the speedway as they run right now. This one being the best for position number 5. Patty leads, but it's not by much. Only 6/10 over Harold Watkins. And getting there is one thing. Passing is another, but Watkins is as close as he has gotten in this race. He was just 5.5 tenths back. Strader's not far behind him either, so these guys have both figured something out here that potentially could help them get to Ryan Patty when push comes to shove. If you want an idea of tire fall off, best lap in the race for the leader, Patty, is a 21.51. His last lap was a 22.23. Now this time by an identical 22.23. Fastest car on track that time was Strader in 3rd by 0.07. A 22.16. The leader's 22.23. 93 to go for Ryan Patty. Watkins continues to run behind him. And Strader, we've had a problem, and he's crashed. Christian Strader has found trouble at Richmond with 93 to go. It was off screen, but he has had a problem. He's gone right to pit road. And boy, oh boy, what a development in this one. The winningest driver in the field crashes on lap number 68. And what happened here to the Reese's Mustang? That looks like a technical issue to me. Oh, man. It was definitely a technical issue, and it involves John Velocity. Nothing to do with it. What in the world happened to Christian Strader right here? As the field worked off turn number 4. He goes off in the corner. He had been doing this all night. And the car just drifts on him. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It looks to be some kind of major technical issue because he did not drive away. He went right to pit road. Let's go on board with Christian Strader. I think we'll get a pretty good idea if this was technical or not. If you can watch the wheel, let's see the wheel in his hands here as he worked off into turn 3. Boy, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what happened. His wheel is still moving at the time that he goes to pit road. So obviously, that's a very odd look. We're obviously open for the best there, and it's not something obviously that's worse than that. I don't want to speculate at all, but that was very odd. Or the driver of the 29. So we will monitor his status. He is on pit road, already 1 lap down. He's already, I think, gone 2 laps down. And notably, this will allow Matt Hayden back on the lead lap in the 5 machine for the first time since his incident on lap 1. So yeah, he stuck around in it and has gotten back on the lead lap. So big development there for Matt Hayden as Ryan Patty holds the field here off turn number 2. So there's 90 laps to go at Richmond. We'll restart with about 88 to go, which is going to put us at risk maybe of not having a pit stop. I'm not sure what the fuel range is tonight, so we may still have 1 green flag pit stop left remaining on the night. So strategy, we'll see how that looks when we get back under the green flag. A lot of guys came to pit road right there. They have taken a set of tires. It's going to make this very interesting to see who comes off with new Goodyear Eagles, and we'll be able to drive through the field on this restart. It's Ryan Patty first, Harold Watkins second, GT Irizarry in third, Rusty Modesty fourth, and Stephen Luttrell in the fifth position. Then it's Cody Eldred, Greg Bourbonier, Garrett Caswell, Andrew Little, and Nick Seipel, the top 10. John Velocity goes all the way to 11th. That was the car running in the fourth spot when this happened, behind the two leaders. So, obviously, we'll continue to wait for an update, hopefully, on Christian Strader throughout the night. Green flag back in the air with 88 laps to go in Richmond. Patty, another big jump. This time, Watkins will get a challenge from out back from Irizarry, but it's Watkins looking forward here on the restart. Harold Watkins trying to take the lead away from Ryan Patty and be the first driver to take it away from him here towards the front. Up on the top side around Luttrell. That was Caswell, and that's for P5. Trouble, they're going to crash. Luttrell's in the wall. Caswell, Seipel, others involved. The caution flag's going to come out, I would think, as the field works off turn 4 because the Luttrell machine was disabled. In the 36, but no caution flag comes out. The green will stay on the racing surface, and it's a tough break for Caswell, an even tougher one for Luttrell, who gets involved in that one in now the 14th position. Christian Strader's night is over. He has retired from the race on lap 68, so a tough break for Christian Strader, whatever the case may be on that 29. His race is over. Meanwhile, up front, we got a battle for the lead, and this has kind of been altered by the fact that we had that crash back around the fifth spot. These guys have been able to check out, and Watkins can now focus completely forward, and he is putting all kinds of pressure on the back of the DeWalt Chevrolet. It's the newest driver in the series, Patty, and the most recent winner at Watkins Glen. And Harold Watkins, one of the winningest in the series here in the calendar year of 2025, going at it potentially for a victory here in Richmond. It's 0.3 of a second that separate him. By the way, Nick Seipel's gone to third out behind these guys. He's not gaining notable time on the leaders, but he has made his way back into the third position, which is +1 for him from where he started. Oh, the leader, Patty. That's the first mistake, really, in a couple weeks of racing. The first time I've seen him make a mistake is off turn 4 at Richmond, and Watkins tries to pounce. A car length separate the two leaders. Patty leads the way. Now it's 3 car lengths off the 2. Watkins is the chaser, but hold everything. Caution flag is on the speedway, and it's for Garrett Caswell. So the 10's gone around off turn number 4 after he had that incident with Luttrell on the restart. He's had another one here off of the final corner. We picked this up a little late, so let's see. We just spin it here off turn 4. Does certainly appear to be the case. He blinks out just a little. He spins it left and can't get it saved. Comes back across and stops in the middle of the front straightaway. So a self-spin. We'll take one more look at it. He was blinking a little bit too, so you can't see a ton out of this one. We'll take one more quick look at it as he came off turn number 4 and got sideways. Almost had it saved, but comes back across. Luckily for him, doesn't get hit. He's able to stop that car and keep from any more damage aboard that 10 machine, so he'll be able to continue. But a spin is going to put him at some disadvantage track position-wise. Well, we had just seen the first mistake from Ryan Patty in a couple weeks Challenger competition. Last week at Watkins Glen, pretty well ran a flawless race and got himself into victory lane. So far tonight, had run a pretty flawless race, but it's just short of the halfway mark. Makes his first ever mistake. So we'll get back green here in just a moment. On lap 84, it will be 77 laps to go at the Richmond Raceway, so just past halfway. Ryan Patty has faced some stiff challenges tonight from either Strader or Watkins. Watkins the most recent, and it just got to his back bumper right there and got the best look that anyone's gotten at Ryan Patty in a couple weeks. Got his best look right there, but the caution flag will halt things. This actually is going to bring Nick Seipel into this as well. Winner from Sonoma earlier in the season. Top 3 have all won races in this second season. Top 4 have won races in the calendar year 2025. Between the two seasons, Andrew Little, the Martinsville winner from season 1. Behind them, some guys that either won in 2025 but have yet to win here in season 2 or just have not won yet in this calendar year. We're talking Rusty Modesty in 6th, Matt Aiden 7th, Harold Rothery 8th, Garrett Caswell 9th, and Greg Bourbonier 10th. So behind the top 4, a potential for a new winner in the calendar year. Behind the top 3, a potential for a new winner here in season number 2, with some guys experiencing some misfortune here towards the front of the field. You're on board with Ryan Patty as he'll gas it up in the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Here we go. It's 77 laps to go from Richmond. Seipel's underneath Watkins. That's for second. They'll make a little bit of contact almost here into turn number 1. Seipel on the inside. Watkins on the outside. The Ghost Chevrolet. It'll be Seipel taking the spot. Here comes Andrew Little. Crossed over by Watkins. Harold Watkins back to the inside. That's for second here into turn number 3. Little looks to the safety barrier. A lane higher than both drivers. Trying to get around both of them. Seipel holds the second spot. They'll battle behind the leader, Ryan Patty, with 76 laps remaining. Patty now tries to set sails to second on back, try to figure it out between all of those race cars. John Velasquez trying to come back forward. He's 12th right now, was running as high as 4th before he got involved in the Christian Strader incident just a moment ago. The battle on the racetrack is for second. It is between Seipel and Watkins. They go door to door. Off turn 2, nobody with an advantage. Andrew Little hanging around. Matt Hayden hanging around. He's back up to 5th. Watkins gets the spot. Seipel crosses over. Back underneath comes the 57. And we got a battle and a half for the second position here in Richmond. Seipel, they make some contact, trade some paint. On the entrance of turn 1, Seipel gets it back. Watkins gives him a shot. Can't quite cross over, can the Ghost Chevy. He'll try again here into 3. To get to the inside of Nick Seipel, he'll make a little contact, little bumper usage. Off turn 4, they're going to door slam. Trading paint here as they work past the start-finish line. Battle continues for second. Seipel, Watkins. Watkins gets the spot. Seipel crosses over. He'll try to drive back underneath the 3 here off turn 2. Actually tried to look to the outside. It didn't work. He'll lean here into 3. You figure he would have tried to go give him the bumper. Instead, he'll run up high, try to get a little bit of momentum, and then drive it in here to turn 1. They'll battle again when they work their way back down to turn number 1. And now Watkins appears to have wrestled that spot away from the Nick Seipel machine for good, at least for the time being, here at Richmond. Matt Aiden is stalking these guys from out back. He's been one of the first to go up to the high side and work the outside lane to try to get some speed up on the rim ride area of the racetrack, the high rent district. And next time by, it will be 70 laps to go for Ryan Patty as he watches this happen in his mirror. But now, Watkins starting to gain some time and reel in the driver of the 30. Trying to get back to him for a win. Hayden's really having some nice success up on the outside of the racetrack right now in that 5th position. He's worked back up to 5th spot. Trying to get 4th from Andrew Little as they work back here into turn number 1 with just 70 laps to go. See how far up in the field Matt Aiden can get. Meanwhile, the battle continues between these two drivers. These two have seen a lot of each other tonight. This time it's for 6th. Irizuri and Garrett Caswell, and they start to do their best Harold Watkins, Nick Seipel impression here as they work into turn 1. They keep switching and crossing over and giving each other the spot and then taking it on the next corner. This time, though, it'll be Irizuri taking, and I believe he will keep here as they work down into turn number 3. Caswell going to try one more effort to get it back, has to lift out of the throttle. Irizuri drives through to the 6th position. John Velasquez recovered to 8th position. He'll look for 7th on Caswell here momentarily, trying to get his way back to the front of the field as he had some misfortune earlier. Again, the Strader incident kind of was just unlucky for where he was running. But Now the battle is on. That is for 7th. Caswell on the outside, Velocity on the inside. Velocity crosses up on the nose. Crossover. Here comes Caswell. Gonna get squeezed. He's gonna crash. Velocity goes sideways. They don't crash, but I can't imagine the driver of the 84 is going to be very happy about that one, as he will try to get back to Garrett Caswell. So they got together in turn 3. Contact again in that position, and Caswell certainly not making any more friends tonight in terms of the John Velocity camp. We'll see if the 84 is able to get back to him later on in the going. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way as they work off turn 2. Watkins chases, keeping him again within arm's distance. So just trying to stay close enough that if this thing gets into a pit cycle or if there's a late caution flag, maybe Watkins can take advantage. Or maybe he can run him down on long run speed like he was starting to do earlier in the night. Well, I would think you're going to have to start kicking in that long run speed sooner rather than later if you're Harold Watkins, because we only have, at the line, 63 laps to go in Richmond, and they will be over in a hurry. Off turn 2 down the back straightaway, Patty by 9/10 over Watkins. Then the battle will be actually for 3rd. Seipel has it. Andrew Little's come on strong in this portion of the race. GT Raziri's gotten by Matt Hayden. That's for 5th. Andrew Little knocking on the door of a podium position here in the Waterford Concept Chevy. As he looks around the 75 of Seipel. Meanwhile, out back, Caswell and Velocity are just 5.5 apart. So as Little chases down Seipel, I'm keeping an eye on that gap. It's down inside 5/10, so we'll take you back there here momentarily. Trying to let Andrew Little make a pass here on Nick Seipel if he's going to get to him here for the 3rd spot. Well, let's go back there because these guys, I don't think they're going to be able to wait. Caswell runs 7th, Velocity runs 8th. A moment ago, Caswell got into the left rear of Velocity, and we're going to see now if Velocity's going to give it back. 3/10 separate these two drivers. They work back into turn 1. Let's see what Caswell does here in a 1. Here comes Velocity, right to his back. Bumpering try and crashes him. Goodness, tempers flare at Richmond as Velocity takes out the 10 of Caswell. Wow. Ooh, Caswell, be careful here. Here come the leaders. As he comes back up on track, we're going to keep it right here and not even go to a replay. You saw it happen. We all know what that was. We all know exactly what went on right there. We saw the initial contact when we were focused on the battle between those two for position, and clearly John Velocity was not very happy with the way he got raced by Garrett Caswell. And folks, when you're a driver and a broadcaster, as Caswell misses the entrance at pit road, he's going to back up and just come on down. Folks, when you're a driver and a broadcaster, I believe John Velocity's been parked. But when you're a driver and a broadcaster, obviously you've been in this spot as a driver, and I have been on both ends of that very situation, and it is tough as a driver to keep your composure, especially, you know, remember back John Velocity over the past 6 months, really not even 6 months, really the past 2 months, 3 months. He's had a couple different instances, whether it's with Caswell or otherwise, where he feels he has not been raced fairly. This dates all the way back to the end of May, and the incident at Charlotte with Justin Malarkey in the playoff race, where, again, he does not feel like he was raced fairly. There's been a couple other times that he feels like he's not been raced fairly, and eventually it comes to a head as a driver, and right there, it reaches a boiling point, and I will use a I'll use a quote that actually is from that race that I used in that incident as well. It's this wreck's not good. It's not good, and we all saw it happen. We'll go back and take a look, but again, folks, there's not a whole lot to break down in this. We all saw what it was. Let's take one look at it briefly before we go back green, but we all saw what it was. This was retaliation. This was payback. And it was payback in the highest degree. I'll be honest, when I thought he was going to get there, I did not think that was what was going to happen. But I thought for sure he'd get into him. I thought for sure he'd use the bumper, and he did all that and more. Did John Velocity. So imagining that either he has parked himself or he has been parked by race control. We'll see if any discipline comes out of it. That's going to be actually really interesting in the points battle as well. Green flag goes back in the air off pit road. Andrew Little and a few other cars stay out here. Almost trouble, and Ryan Patty's almost in it. They're 4 wide here into turn 1, and Harold Watkins gets shipped up the hill. Nick Seipel gets shipped up the hill, and all of a sudden it's chaos in turn 1 on the restart as several cars go sideways. Seipel, Watkins were 2 of them. Patty comes out on top of that. Guys on old tires now up front. Little leads the way. Irizarry trying to get the lead trouble. Around goes Rusty Modesty and put this race right back under the caution flag. So Rusty Modesty goes around under this, yet another caution here tonight. This happened towards the tail end. Right back around Watkins. We had just had that incident. Ooh, man, Modesty goes sideways. Gets loose off turn 4. Goes for a bit of a slide. We'll take one more look at it, and I do want to go back. I did not analyze that wreck with Velocity and Caswell enough, so I do want to go back and watch another angle or two of that as well. But you see Modesty come off here, off of turn number 4, and this goes sideways, goes for a slide. A harmless slide for Modesty. Heated up the tires a little bit, but no damage. Nobody hits him. He's able to get it back going, so all good on that machine. I want to try to find the first instance between Caswell and Velocity. It was not long after the green flag. I don't think we're going to be able to find it, but I really wanted to find that first instance. We're not going to be able to right now, so we are going to go back and watch this again from a couple of other angles, though. Because, again, I didn't really analyze it. I was trying to put it into words what we had just seen. But let's go to a couple more. We'll just analyze this, again, a little bit more than we did. You can pretty well tell on entry what the 84 was going to do here. I mean, he slides his car a little bit, trying to get deep enough in the corner to get to Garrett Caswell. And very clearly he goes through the left rear. We'll go on board with Velocity. You can see exactly what I mean, too, by him driving in deep. You'll hear him kind of just go in late, expecting to use the 10 as a brake. Now, whether or not he wanted that to happen, again, we don't know. We're not in the race car. We're not in the head of John Velocity. But, I mean, it's about as cut and dry as it gets. Real quick, let's go on board with the John Velocity machine. Went to the wrong yellow flag. That's my apologies. Let's go on board with him. This is as cut and dry an angle as you're going to get at what happened into turn 1 is the Tempers Flare for the first time this season at Richmond. This was one caution to go. And I did not hear much of a lift there into turn number 1. So he got to the back of the 10. So caution flag number 7's brought this race to a halt on lap 111. It will be 49 laps to go at Richmond Raceway. It's Andrew Little and Matt Hayden on the front row, then Ryan Patty, who's led most of the laps tonight. Greg Bourbonier is 4th. With Travis Everett in the 5th spot. Then it's Brandon Beauchamp, Nick Seipel, Harold Watkins, then Cody Eldred, then Harold Rothery. Some guys coming out pit road right there got some fresh tires, including GT Raziri, who started up front on the last restart. Top 2 are on old tires. Third place, Ryan Patty, I believe, is on new ones. Green flag back in the air, and away we go towards turn 1. Patty's going to get Hayden before they ever enter turn 1. He'll try for 2 for 1 here in turns 1 and 2. For the first time, it's Patty having to go on offense here off turn number 2, but he'll quickly navigate to the inside of Andrew. Little trouble. Around goes Seipel, Bourbonier, and others. The caution is back out again. They're crashing on the backstretch here at Richmond as Seipel goes for a spin at the end of the back straightaway. Patty cannot get back to the lead even if he tries here. It's Nick Seipel this time is the one that goes for a spin. Let's see what happened on the end of the back straightaway. I'm not sure if there was contact here or what happened. Or does he? No, man, he just gets loose. You see that car snap from under him. He goes left, then he goes right. He gets Bourbonier. I think Bourbonier, I thought, was able to save this. But Harold Watkins is not. Harold Watkins is in this in the 3. That's the guy that was running second. I think everybody else is able to duck out of the way. But Watkins gets a piece. It looks like everybody else is able to maneuver on by the 57. So they work their way off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Let's quickly go up top. Show you an angle from up here. Pretty cut and dry in this one for Seipel. You'll see the car snap right there. He overcorrects, comes back to the right. Bourbonier, that's a great save by the Miller Lite Camry to not spin. As Seipel, oh man, he does some more damage right there to the wall trying to get it back going. So a tough night here for the Nick Seipel machine. Take one more angle and we'll go back up front, get ready for another restart inside of 45 laps to go. Seipel goes sideways right in front of Harold Watkins and brings out the 8th caution of the night. So back under the caution flag. Race has entered a bit of a lull here in the last 10 or so minutes, but Andrew Little continuing to lead. I don't know how long that will be. Saw Ryan Patty. He was looking for it on entry to 1. Really right there on that restart. Entry to 3, excuse me, on that restart. So not really sure how long it will take Ryan Patty to get back to the front, but you'd imagine he is working to get there. Because he has led a lot of laps tonight. Ryan Patty has been the best car in the field again for the 2nd week in a row, looking to go back-to-back. Now, I did want to comment. I didn't get to this earlier either, but I did want to mention it at the top of the show. I did not get to. Ryan Patty, if my understanding is correct, after the league voted last week on what amount of race eligibility you need to be in the playoffs, like you need to start a minimum number of races, I believe the winning number was 50%. If that's the case and Patty were to start from here until the end of the regular season, then he would be playoff eligible by virtue of his win at Watkins Glen last week and begin accruing playoff points with that win and a potential win here tonight in Richmond as well. So keep that in mind. I think that's the number that the league voted on back in last week's race after Watkins Glen got over with. Almost positive that is what the league voted on. Green flag back in the air. Little gets a good jump on Ryan Patty, but again, are they just delaying the inevitable here for the DeWalt Chevrolet into turn 1? Little's on older tires than Ryan Patty is, so Patty can go on offense just a little bit. Watkins rim rides here off 2. He's going to get Bourbon here for 5th. He'll try to get Hayden for 4th as Everett slots in to the 3rd spot for the first time tonight. Breaking into the top 3 is Travis Everett. On turn number 4, here it is. The battle for the lead. Ryan Patty on the inside. Little on the outside. And with 43 to go, Ryan Patty going to try to get back to the point at Richmond Raceway. Little trying to drive it hard off turn 2. Not going to stick. New leader again in Richmond. It's Patty. Little hangs on the right rear quarter panel, and Travis Everett's pretty sporty all of a sudden. Everett, almost a winner in Bristol a season ago, a winner at Talladega back in season 1 of 2025. One of the final 4 has shown race-winning speed. All of a sudden, here comes Travis Everett. The Black Rifle Mustang to the inside, a lunge on Ryan Patty into 1. Can't quite get the lead. Watkins is here as well in 4th. He'll duck to the inside of Andrew Little for 3rd as Patty tries to put that nose in the wind and set into the sunset here at Richmond Raceway. Everett chases Watkins on Little. That's for 3rd. Behind them, Hayden settles into 5th as Cody Eldred runs back in 6th, and from there, it is a complete mess. Everett gets the outside wall off too. Both those cars go by him, and Watkins, just like that, goes from 4th to position number 2, and Matt Hayden works his way into this battle for what will be 4th and 3rd here in just a moment as Watkins sets his sights on Patty. Harold Watkins has 40 laps to catch Ryan Patty and put himself in Challenger Cup Series victory lane for the second time this season and the second time in 3 weeks. Patty looking to go for the second time in 2 weeks, looking to go back-to-back in his first 2 career starts. Little has 3rd. Everett wants it. Hayden coming into this battle as well. So is Eldred. Then it's Bourbonier, Irizarry, Modesty, and Luttrell. Everett maintains 3rd. Hayden wants 4th here, though, from Andrew Little, and Eldred's worked his way into this. All of a sudden, the 34's got something to say for the leaders, potentially, as they work down towards turn number 1. As Hayden looks to the inside, Watkins, by the way, 7.5 tenths, making 8 tenths back of Patty. He's hanging tough, but that's not going to be enough if he wants to win the race. He's got to get closer than he is right now. Hayden beating on the back bumper of the Waterford Concepts Camaro as they work here into turn number 1. Trying to get that 4th position, then try to chase down Everett for 3rd. Eldred runs back in 6th. Irizarry, Modesty closing on these guys as well. Hayden going to try to make quick work here of the 68 and get to 4th and try to get through to the next few cars off turn number 4. Again, Little on some of the oldest tires in the field with 35 to go, just trying to hang on for dear life. The call did not work, but no sense in not risking it, not gambling. In front of the field, trying to get yourself in victory lane. That's exactly what Andrew Little did on these old tires. It's just not going to pay off for him here at Richmond. Hayden not able to get the spot, though. Gets a little loose there in turns 3 and 4. He'll get attacked by Eldred for 6th and Irizarry for 7th. So Hayden with a big moment there with 34 to go will lose both those spots and now have to regain them in that 5 car. It'll give Andrew Little another moment to run in the 4th spot. And Eldred works into the top 5. Big hit to the outside wall. That was Greg Bourbonier back here in the 10th spot as he has lost a couple spots now in that car as well. Rusty Modesty gets Matt Hayden. That is for the 7th spot. So Hayden all the way back to 8th. 33 to go. Watkins is hanging around, but that's as close as he's been able to get. He's about 7 tenths back of the race leader, Ryan Patty, as Watkins tries to run him down. Again, Watkins, the winner from Iowa 2 weeks ago. A very similar track in a layout to this one. As Watkins tries to get win number 2 on the season and potentially put a dent in Christian Schrader's point lead here tonight that will likely go away because of that issue we saw earlier with the 29. Coming into tonight, Watkins was 35 points behind Schrader. Currently, he got stage points in stage 1 and runs 14 positions in front of Schrader on the racetrack, so he's profiting. Nonetheless, so is GT Irizarry with a 7th place run, so is Hayden with 8th. Modesty with 6th. A lot of guys that were behind Schrader in the points are going to benefit here from really good runs at Richmond. Andrew Little actually stands to be one of the biggest beneficiaries. A 4th place finish actually may vault him in front of a couple guys in front of him as well. Get him up towards that top 4 in the point standings. So a lot of guys having good runs tonight that needed them. Travis Everett's going to close the gap a little bit. He's going to gain a spot or 2 tonight in points as well. So now the interesting part is Ryan Patty has only 29 laps to go, and Watkins continues to try to chase. The interesting part is going to be down around 15th in points, and that's where John Velocity sat coming into tonight's race. He was only 17 points ahead of the cut line coming into tonight, and only about 40 points in front of Harold Rothery, who currently runs in the 9th position. Rothery stands to gain some on the Velocity machine here in this race. You'd expect that maybe Ryan Patty is going to put John Velocity in a really bad spot in points. If Patty ends up being playoff eligible, he is not as of now, but if he ends up being playoff eligible, Velocity, as of tonight, I believe would be the last car in. He'd be in the 16th position. 2 points in front of Steven Racing. Now, Racing did not start tonight, but here's where it gets interesting. Racing on the plate tracks tends to lead some laps, tends to run up front. Has gotten a couple good finishes in the past 2 seasons at plate tracks. Where do we head next week? Daytona International Speedway, a plate track. My curiosity will be, with 25 laps to go, and I'll talk about this at the end of the race as well, maybe a little bit. My curiosity will be, as we hit 25 laps to go, what will the discipline be for the driver of the 84, John Velocity, for his actions on Garrett Caswell back about 50 laps ago? 30 laps ago, more like. Will race control choose to suspend the series champ for a week? And if he does, if Racing starts, it could present a very interesting situation for John Velocity headed into the final 6 races of the regular season. This could get very interesting. Things could get very interesting for the defending champs. He looks to defend that title. Brandon Beauchamp off pit road is going to slide right in front of the leaders. That was almost big. Right in front of Ryan Patty as he's opened up a 9-10 lead on Harold Watkins. We'll have to see what race control decides. We have not yet heard any word on what the discipline will be. I'm sure we'll hear it this week. We've not really seen a precedent, at least not this calendar year, for what happened earlier in the night. So I'm not particularly sure how this is going to get called or how exactly this is going to work for John Velocity, because again, we have not really seen this in terms of precedent. We've seen things after the race, but not during the actual race itself. So I'm kind of curious how race control will decide to administer any discipline. Cody Eldred having the best run of his Challenger Cup Series career. He's up to 4th in that 34 machine. Battle behind them is for 5th. That's between Irizarry and Rusty Modesty. Andrew Little chases them. Matt Hayden is not far behind that group either. The battle for 5th continues behind the leader, Ryan Patty, who's opened up again about a 1.1 second gap on Watkins. So maybe setting sail here for the 30 machine. Irizarry gets the spot. We'll see if he drives away. 19 laps to go in Richmond. Modesty trying to get the spot back, but Irizarry seems to be one of the men on the move here on the long run. He's up to 5th, looking for maybe a 4th with Cody Eldred. I don't think he'll get to Everett in the 3rd spot by the time we come to the end of tonight's race. Tell you what, you want a good start to a career, this is the way to do it, as Ryan Patty is starting to open up that gap on Harold Watkins. Watkins is losing time. It's up to 1.4 seconds between the two cars as Patty works off turn 4 and puts another lap on the board. 17 to go at Richmond. I wondered coming out of Watkins Glen if that was just a road course thing, if it was a ringer situation where he's just really good on the lefts and rights, or if it would translate to the ovals as well. And he has answered my question and answered it with force here tonight as Ryan Patty. He is not just good on road courses, folks. He is good on ovals as well. So Patty, a force to be reckoned with all of a sudden again, considering that playoff eligibility is likely going to take effect. The field is going to have to figure out a way to hang with Ryan Patty, because the way he's running right now, the last 2 weeks he's been virtually unstoppable. 15 laps to go. He's opened up a 1.8 second lead on Harold Watkins. Last lap for Patty, a 22:41. Last lap for Watkins, a 22:70. I didn't mean to do that. He's 3/10 faster in the field. He opens it up even more here with 14 to go, and now appears to be due to just set sail and cruise to his second victory of the season and second in as many weeks. Coming up, 13 laps to go. This one's in the very, very final stages, so unless anything happens around him, he's obviously hoping that does not happen, but unless anything happens around him or lap traffic kind of gives him some problems here, he will be cruising to a victory. 2 seconds is now the margin between these two cars, being Patty and Watkins. 12 to go. He'll reach the back of the field for the first time tonight, so lap traffic becoming an issue here with 12 to go. We'll see how he's able to navigate these couple cars in front of him. Luttrell going to go 1 lap down. Caswell going to probably go 2 laps down. Matt Aiden has made a pit stop or had a problem, as he is now 1 lap down in 12. Luttrell out of the way pretty easily. Next up is the Caswell machine. A tough night for Garrett Caswell, so he'll go a 2nd lap down. It's been derailed for him. He had kind of gotten back on track, had gotten as high as 5th, and then in a battle with John Velocity earlier, had some contact, got the 84 out of shape, and when trying to just maintain his position, John Velocity paid him back. We may be pitting here. Greg Bourbonier and Stephen Luttrell are on pit road. Curious to see if Ryan Patty will have to come to pit road as well. But for Caswell, got into Velocity, got him out of shape. Velocity got back to him and showed his frustrations with the driver of the 10 and has derailed Caswell's evening. A tough break for a team running with a lot on their minds tonight. A lot on their hearts. It just has not been the evening for Nick Seipel or Garrett Caswell that I imagine they wanted. Seipel's recovered to 6th, but Caswell runs 11, 2 laps down in that 77. So I can't imagine that is the night that they wanted or that they envisioned, but an unfortunate inning, at least for Garrett Caswell's sake. 8 laps to go for Ryan Patty. 2.5 seconds is the lead. And he continues to just open it up more. With about 7, we're coming back to 7 laps to go. And Patty, now he's up by 3 seconds. I mean, this run has been similarly to what we saw back at Watkins Glen. And the gap is opening quickly. It's up over 3 seconds. He's running the fence now. I've only seen a couple guys run the fence really all night. It's not really paying him much dividend, but with a 3-second lead, you could about afford to make things interesting. 3.3 seconds to lead. He'll come back. He'll see a 5 out the flag stand, which will indicate 5 laps to go. From Richmond, 3.5 seconds is the lead. He's cruising to what should be his 2nd win of the season in back-to-back victories for the DeWalt Chevrolet. Going to be a good run for Watkins, who will gain a chunk of points back on Christian Schrader, who will finish tonight in 16th. It'll be a good run for Everett. He'll gain a couple point spots like we mentioned. Eldred, his best run of his career. Irizarry needed this run as well from 3rd in the points. He'll gain some points on Schrader. Nick Seipel going to recover to 6th. Rusty Modesty's going to have himself a good run. Same with Harold Rothery. Off turn 4, it's 3 laps to go. Well, we're going to start a countdown to the time that someone can beat Ryan Patty. Now, next week we'll head to Daytona, which plate racing often the great equalizer, but if he were to win there, I wouldn't even be sure what to think at that point in terms of the rest of the season. Beauchamp on better tires as popsicle sticks for Ryan Patty. 2 laps to go. Beauchamp on better tires. Patty will let him go by. 3.6 seconds is the lead. If Patty wins at Daytona next week, certainly going to be interesting. Beauchamp's out of shape. Is this going to draw a caution? No, he saves it. That was almost disaster right as I talked about him winning tonight. White flag is up. 1 lap to go for Patty, and you just saw his race flash before his eyes. He will take the white flag. Well, at Daytona, if he wins there, I won't know what to say about the driver of the DeWalt Chevy. He has put it to these boys for a couple weeks in a row. And he's going to do it again tonight. He did it on a road course last week in Watkins Glen. He does it on a short track tonight. It's dominance again. Ryan Patty wins in Richmond. That last run was just about flawless, about as good as you can make it. The driver of the 30. As he gets the job done, he'll burn it down here on the front stretch. It's Patty winning again. He'll actually come down here to turn 1. He'll make the turn back towards the start-finish line and make his presence felt here on the front stretch. Ryan Patty wins over Harold Watkins, Travis Everett, Cody Eldred, and GT Irizarry. He will actually channel multiple drivers of the Polish victory lap, so no burnout yet for Ryan Patty, but we'll give him a chance here to come around and celebrate if he wishes. So Patty works through his Polish victory lap here at Richmond Raceway, so as we always do, we'll give him the opportunity to celebrate accordingly as he gets another victory in his Challenger Cup Series career. 2 for 2, 100% win rate. That's pretty good. As he makes it back-to-back here in Richmond. We'll see if he does a burnout here when he comes back around. So Patty wins in Richmond. We'll get to the results and some post-race interviews, and also, again, we'll brief you on what's coming up. Now I'll do the burnout. Looks like he's going to channel his inner Kyle Larson here on the front stretch. Is Ryan Patty. Remember, Larson did the backwards burnout at Richmond, I want to say either last year or late 2023, so I think his best impression of Young Money here on the front stretch is Ryan Patty. When you put on a performance like that, I think you've earned the opportunity to impersonate Kyle Larson. So that's what Ryan Patty will do here on the front stretch, as he will burn it down, his second win of his career and second in as many weeks at Richmond. As he completes his burnout, he'll pull it down to the apron, complete his celebration, and we will get into the finishing results and then into some post-race interviews. Ryan Patty wins it by 4.5 seconds over second-place Harold Watkins. It's Travis Everett getting himself a podium in third. Cody Eldred, great run tonight for the 34 machine. He'll go from fourth. It'll be GT Irizarry back in the fifth finishing position. Nick Seipel finishes 6th tonight. Rusty Modesty in 7th. Harold Rothery 8th. Andrew Little 9th. And Matt Hayden 10th. Garrett Caswell finishes 11th with Stephen Luttrell in 12th. Greg Burbanier 13th. Brandon Beauchamp in 14th. John Velocity in 15th. Christian Strader, after a great start, a tough end to his night. He'll go from 16th tonight. And Mike Martino rounds out the field of 17. We'll get to some post-race interviews now as we wrap up coverage tonight from Richmond Raceway. We'll start first with the man who finished third, came into tonight in the 10th position in the points. He'll certainly gain a couple spots now as Travis Everett comes home third at Richmond. We'll get his thoughts on his evening tonight from Richmond Raceway and a great run for the 13. Travis, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got you, buddy.
Well, a good run for you tonight. Had to come from towards the back of the field a couple different times and weave your way through there, but you managed to do so. You get third place on a late restart and managed to hold that position until the end. A well-needed run for you, I would say. 10th in points coming into tonight. You will not leave any lower than that. You'll gain some spots in the points, and overall, good night for entry number 13. Take me through a very successful evening for you here tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, just I believe tires were key there and track position. Seemed once you got within, I don't know, 5/10 to 6/10, you just lose the front end on it. You couldn't make any ground on the car in front of you unless you had 10, 15 lap pressure tires, and really just hoping for a caution there with about 20 to go. We had a save set. I'm not sure what Harold and Ryan had up there, but would like to have a little closer shot than what we did. But overall, good night, good points night after missing Watkins Glen last weekend.
Well, absolutely a good night for you. Now we start to look forward as we leave here from Richmond. Just 6 races left in the regular season, and obviously some chances here to improve your seeding as we get closer to the playoffs. So we got a couple good tracks coming up for you here over the next couple weeks. We go to Daytona here next week. Obviously, remember the win from Talladega a season ago on the plate tracks, and Bristol as well, a race you ran very well in season 1. So a couple tracks that you either got a win at or got very close to a win at. You know, are you kind of circling those dates on the calendar, or are you kind of treating every race the same? Kind of take me through how you're game planning the last 6 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, we got to win at Talladega last season. I wouldn't say we have it circled as pretty much a crapshoot where anybody can walk away with a win it, just like where we're heading Daytona next week. Do favor Darlington, I like there, and definitely Bristol had a good run there last season. Just couldn't walk away with a win. A little strategy threw us off there at the end. But yeah, I think we know what to do coming up at Bristol this time, hopefully anyway.
We look forward to the playoff push here to the end of the regular season tonight, though a third-place finish for you in Richmond. So before we let you go and enjoy that finish just a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, of course, you, PGR, for broadcasting this thing week in, week out. I really enjoy going back and looking at them, and Challenger for bringing everybody together and letting us all have a little bit of fun on Tuesday nights.
A fun one tonight from Richmond, and a third-place finish for you here tonight in round number 8 of the season. Thanks for talking to me for a second. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week at the World Center Racing Daytona.
Appreciate it, bud. Y'all have a good one.
Travis Everett, the third-place finisher tonight. We'll move now to the Iowa winner from a couple weeks ago, and a driver who I think is finally getting his mojo back from season 1, a 5-time winner a season ago. He did not capture win number 2 of this season here tonight, but certainly feels like he's back in championship form. That's the 3 of Harold Watkins coming home second at Richmond tonight. Harold, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, an interesting one here tonight from Richmond, and, you know, you come home second. Obviously, we watched you all night kind of try to figure out Ryan Patty, and on the long run, it looked like at times you had the better car. What was different on the last run for you there? And we saw the gap balloon. What was different there? Was there anything he was doing differently or that you were doing differently? Kind of take us through that last run and why it was so different from the rest of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I took 2. I don't know if that affected me on the long run. I was just trying to get track position during that caution, hoping if I could get to the lead, I'd have better aero. And like once you got within like 5, 6, 7 tenths of someone, it was just impossible to turn center. So I just did everything I could to get the lead, and then, you know, that caution came out. It shoved me back a couple spots, and then I was like 5 spots behind him. I had to get through traffic and try to get on him, and then I was just trying to find any sort of line because we were sitting there just running even. And I'm like, oh, I'll just try this, I'll try that. Just burn it off, trying to find anything to get a little bit of a leg up, and couldn't do it.
Well, regardless, obviously over the past few weeks, it feels like, and I said this a moment ago as I was leading into the interview, that you're kind of back on track and back in championship form. It was not the start to the season I think that we expected, and you know, after the season that you had back in season 1 with the championship 4 run and 5 wins. So obviously, feels like you're back in that form now. You know, is that correct? Do you feel kind of the same way as we enter the playoff push? Do you feel like you finally got your mojo back from season 1?
Yeah, definitely. We're off most of the road courses, which, you know, I'm decent at road courses, but I've just had some bad luck. I've got wrecked at, I think, every single road course we've ran at to shove me back. But I missed Dover, which is my favorite racetrack on the service. I think I really had a good shot to win that one. And then we really haven't run many ovals after that. But anytime we're on an oval, short track, mile and a half, anything like that, I feel like in my own head at least, I'm the car to beat. Ryan was really good tonight, so I'm excited to have another really fast guy in the league and try to get a little bit better from it.
Well, runner-up for you tonight in Richmond. Again, kind of back on track for you here as we get back onto the ovals. Before we let you go, do want to give you an opportunity after the second place finish. Are there any thank you shout-outs you'd like to give here on the way out?
Yeah, thank you to everyone in the league that makes this thing go around. It's a good place to race, and it's gotten a little chippy here and there, but hopefully we'll settle it down for the playoffs and keep it clean. And thanks to you up in the booth. It's always fun to watch back. I'll watch this back and just agonize over what I could have done differently. And then shout out to everyone watching. Special shout out to Austin Johnson. We're all thinking about you. Hope you're doing all right, man. And it's just never good to have a situation like that, but we're praying for you and hope you have a good recovery. And then just thanks to everyone out there watching.
I want to thank you for talking to me here for a second. Congrats on the second place finish tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week in Daytona.
Thanks, Dawson. Appreciate it.
Harold Watkins there, and I do want to get back to what he said towards the end of that here in just a moment, but do echo the sentiment that Harold had there towards the end of what he was saying. We'll get now to the man in victory lane here in the Challenger Cup Series once again. For back-to-back weeks, it's another win for the 30 of Ryan Patty. Came into the league, took it by storm last week in Watkins Glen and said, one-hit wonder, not sure exactly what that is. He goes back-to-back and makes it 2 for 2 here in the Challenger Cup Series as he wins tonight in Richmond and again starts his path towards playoff eligibility towards the end of the season, potentially making himself a championship contender here in Season 2 of 2025. Let's see what he's got to say about his night. It's Ryan Patty in Challenger Cup Series victory lane. Ryan, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Dawson. I got you.
Well, 2 for 2 is a pretty good start to a career, I would say. And tonight you go back-to-back in another dominant fashion here at Richmond. Obviously I want to talk to you towards the end of this race. The early portion kind of got into a bit of a run, but then some cautions kind of broke up the end portions of this race. You had to do something that you really didn't have to do last week, and that's win a lot of race starts. Kind of what was going through your mind on that. Obviously, we know how good that Harold Watkins and Travis Everett and GT Oziri and guys like that can be on restarts. What was kind of going through your mind? A bit of new territory for you tonight on some late restarts here at Richmond.
Yeah, definitely a little nerve-wracking, a little different than last week. This track's a lot of fun. As you can tell, people had their hands full. Really got to drive the car on edge all the way around this track. And the thing about restarts here is that the car starts off on cold tires way loose. So typically folks will pump a bunch of front brake bias into it, just to help the balance for the first couple laps till it just come up. You push it to the rear to run that long run speed. So for those restarts there, the car was super edgy, and I was just trying to not make a mistake, because you really want to drive it in and make sure that you don't let anyone get to your inside or outside. At the same point, you drive it a little too fast, then you're going to go around. Certainly a mistake. So luckily we did everything just right tonight, and were able to match pace with the 3 car there final run. Really give them anything to work with.
Well, absolutely. And, now we go to another new discipline for here in Challenger Cup Series competition. We started a road course. You win there. You go to win on a short track. Next week, though, is a little bit different. We head to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. I talked about earlier, the plate tracks are a little bit of the great equalizer, a little bit of a wild card. What are you kind of expecting? What's your game plan as we head into what should be a bit of a chaotic one next week in Daytona?
Yeah, it changes almost every time I feel like we go to these drafting tracks. So we'll have to see what the package runs like. I know they made a tire update. I don't know if they changed the aero on these things anytime recently, but if it's anything like last time, a lot of the goal is just to make sure you're paying attention to fuel mileage, so that when when you're one of the last times that you pit, you can get out in the front lead pack, and then you got a chance at making your way to the lead. Obviously new to this league, I don't really know a lot of guys here, so I don't expect to get a lot of help. With this being the first super speedway race in this league, I'll I'll do my best just to make sure that I'm running predictable and try to push some fast cars to the front wherever I get the opportunity.
Well, again, we look forward past Daytona, and we started to talk about the possibility of playoff eligibility. It seems like it's headed that way in terms of, you being able to be a playoff driver come those 5 races in the postseason. So now, I imagine that's got to start to cross your mind as you tick off wins. You're getting close in the points, and now if you get eligible, you've already got a win to lock yourself in. How does that change how you race? Does it change how you race? Kind of take me through your mindset of knowing that there is a chance you could be in the playoffs here come about 6 weeks from now.
No, I don't think it really does. I'll show up every week and just try to maximize points and get the win. Obviously you've got to one stage each race here. Races are shortened. It's only a small 50% the Cup Series race. So yeah, I'm here to rack them up and knock them down. So yeah, I don't think that really changes my approach week to week. Just trying to make sure I maximize my speed, not really ruffle any feathers, and whether I make it to the playoffs or not, I'm hopefully be able to keep it up front.
Well, you did so again tonight, led a lot of laps, and went back to victory lane here at Richmond. It's back-to-back wins for you, so I do want to give you an opportunity before we let you head out of here. Are there any thank you shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yes, sir. Well, thanks again for putting on a great show here. It's always fun to go back and watch. You guys do a great job in the booth, or I should say you, Dawson. So thank you for putting on a good show here, and all the folks that run this league. They do a great job. I know sometimes it can be a handful, but appreciate all the folks behind the scenes that make this happen so we can come out and have some fun.
I had some more fun tonight at Richmond, and you end up on the winning end of it once again. Back-to-back wins for you. Congrats on the effort tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week in Daytona.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you there.
Ryan Patty, the 30, the winner tonight from Richmond Raceway. And that will start to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Richmond Raceway. And I want to bring back a comment that he made real quick before we really wrap things up tonight. And that's the ruffled feathers. Because certainly some feathers were ruffled, and I imagine everyone will know what I'm talking about, but certainly some ruffled feathers tonight in this race at Richmond. And you heard Ryan say he just doesn't want to do that. He just wants to come out here and race and have guys be able to trust him and be predictable. Going to Daytona next week, that will pay dividends for the driver of the 30. And we'll just about do it for us here from Richmond Raceway. Do one more time, and I want to mirror what Harold said on this. I do want to say that our hearts are out with Austin Johnson and his friends and family and loved ones in that whole GTCR Motorsports group. Do want to obviously have our thoughts and prayers with them through this tough time that they're going through, hoping for the best for Austin and his recovery here going forward. And definitely, like Harold said, you really hate to see anything like this happen to anyone, let alone someone as close to us as Austin Johnson is. So wish him and his family the best. Wish all those guys the best as they navigate this time, and I certainly want them to know that Challenger Racing and those of us at PGR eSports have their backs as well as we continue to move on forward. We race for more than just wins and just points and just playoffs and just whatever, what have you. Racing pulls people together. It's a way of kind of bonding us all together, and it can make people really come together in times of need, and this is one of those times. So we will continue to race for more. We'll race with a lot on our minds here as we continue forward. Do want to give you the schedule for the week upcoming here on the PGR eSports Network. Not sure what's going to be going on tomorrow night. It could be any number of things that happen on tomorrow night's broadcast. Coming up Thursday, the Intimidator Super Speedway Series returns as the Gen 4, I believe it's the Gen 4 cars, come out at the Daytona National Speedway. Actually, it's Next Gens, pardon. It is Next Gens, I believe, at Daytona this week. So another trip into these Next Gen race cars for PGR, as that series will make a return for the Intimidator Super Speedway Series on Thursday night. Friday night, it's Landon Veliky and Trevor Osbernoff bringing in more coverage of the Midnight Racing League. Those have been really good races so far over the course of this season with Justin Metlikar and all the guys over there at Midnight. They put on a good show, and Landon and Trev will have you on the call. They always obviously have a great way of entertaining everybody on the broadcast and bringing you a really good product for those races on Friday night. Nothing over the course of the weekend that I know of. Monday night, more preseason racing for the PGR VRX Light Series. As we had another preseason race last night, we'll have another one, I believe, next Monday as the regular season approaches for the PGR Light Series. Can't wait to get that one underway once again for points. We are back next Tuesday night for more Challenger Cup Series action from the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, as we go under the lights at Daytona for 72 laps of action. One of the wild cards, anybody in the field can win that night. We might see a new winner at Daytona a week from tonight. You will not want to miss it. 8:30 on the PGR eSports Network as we crown another winner in the Challenger Cup Series. Also, Austin Green's Grindstone Development Truck Series broadcast will go live just after we do next Tuesday night. He might still be live here tonight for his race as well. From Richmond, he'll be live next week, I believe, also from Daytona for that one for the Grindstone Development Truck Series. Looking forward to that. That's the next week in PGR. As for tonight, it's going to wrap it up from Richmond Raceway. Ryan Patty goes back-to-back 2 for 2 in his Challenger Cup Series career. He goes to victory lane at Richmond Raceway. That'll just about do it for us. Hope you stick along for the week forward in PGR, and if not, we will see you next time, next Tuesday night, for Challenger Cup Series racing from Daytona. We are 8 rounds down. I believe 6 rounds to go in the regular season. The playoff push begins. You will not want to miss a thing. Tune in, subscribe to PGR eSports. We'll bring you all the coverage every Tuesday night from here until the end of the season. We look forward to it. Look forward to having you back next week at Daytona International Speedway. Meanwhile, Ryan Patty wins tonight in Richmond. We have had a great one, another great one here in Challenger Cup Series action. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR eSports.